Okay, The Bargain by Liz Lochhead is a poem which sort of addresses a theme which kind of runs throughout her other work. It's sort of like a minor theme in some of the other work. And that is the theme or the idea of sort of like one-sided love, or the idea of um, the speaker. And most of the time, I think in all of her poetry, at least the ones that we've covered, it's going to be a woman sort of feeling as if she is unsure about how much her partner, her boyfriend, whatever, how much he actually likes her. Um, Sort of the uncertainty of like like of the speaker in this position, or a woman in this position, sort of thinking like maybe she likes her boyfriend or her partner, whatever, more than he likes her, and sort of having the desire, excuse me, having the desire for like security or certainty, essentially like wanting the other person to sort of um, show her that he really likes her, he really cares about her in the same way that she cares and likes him. So that's going to be like a major theme in this text. There's different ways that you can describe this, you know, in the shortened form, maybe it's unrequited love or one-sided love or uncertainty of love or desire for certainty. You call it whatever you want, but that's basically the idea. Now, the backdrop for this poem, okay, is the speaker and her boyfriend. I'm just gonna call her boyfriend, yeah, because I'm not sure if they're married, whatever. I don't know yet, but I'm just gonna call her boyfriend just for the simplicity of this explanation. So basically, the speaker and her boyfriend go to the Barras, Barrowland is a place in Glasgow. It's a market in the East End where you buy stuff. A lot of stuff you can buy is like pirate copied DVDs. You know, back in the day, you buy fake games. It's like a market, huh? Like an open air market. It's like an open air market where people go to like buy and sell things basically. Um, Okay, so that's the background. So it's in this place of buying and selling of trade, and obviously the name of the poem is The Bargain. So the couple are going to this place. It's a date, and they're going on a date to basically look at what they can find. They're going thrifting or looking for good sort of things that they can buy. And in the meantime, during this process of them walking around, the speaker is sort of thinking about the relationship. Okay, so that's the two things that are going on. They're going around looking for bargains, whatever, and at the same time, speaker is thinking about the relationship. Okay, so it begins. The river in January is fast and high, so water is flowing and it's fresh out of the winter time. It's still winter, I guess, but it's the beginning of the new year, and the river is fast and high. You and I, meaning her and her boyfriend, are off to the Barrows. Normally, it's not spelled like this. It's spelled with an A like that you see in the little sign. The Barras. Gathering police horses twitch and fret at the Tron end of London Road. This just means the east end of Glasgow. The early kickoff, we forget, meaning the football, has us, excuse me, 3:30 rubbing the wrong way against all the ugly losers. It's kind of rude. Getting ready to let fly where the two rivers meet. Basically, just there's a football match on, and we can assume it's a Rangers Celtic game, an Old Firm game, and it's at what do you call it? It's at Celtic Park, which is up in the East End. Um, where the two rivers meet. Yes. No. Okay, I'm not sure which one. It could be and it could be Celtic Park, could be Ibrox. I don't know yet. But anyway, the point is, it's basically they've gone to the place, they've gone to thing, and it's a bunch of people walking down. Okay, so I guess if they're walking maybe away from the East End, so it's probably towards Ibrox, basically. Okay. Anyway, side point. It's not important. It's not important. But all right, so what she says, she sets up the setting of the poem, and she basically says her and her boyfriend are going to this place, like I said, the bar is the open air market to go and find stuff. She sets it up by telling us this is happening in January and that it's cold outside, which gives us the indication that the emotion associated with wintertime is sadness. Sadness. Emotion with wintertime is sadness. With January, the emotion or the idea or the January is always a symbol of, well, there's two things. One is a symbol of new beginnings because it's the beginning of of the year, so it's something often which is a positive, which is meaning looking ahead to something good. But also January, the word January itself comes from Janus or from I forget what the other original word is, but anyways, Janus, which was the Greek or Roman, one of them, god of the of 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 two directions. Basically, it's a two-headed god or two-faced god, one looking forward and one looking backwards. And the idea is that January sits in the middle of the January is the middle point where the last year ends and the new year begins. So it's like looking forward and looking backwards. In any case, what this means is the speaker feels excited and hopeful about maybe this relationship could uh, work out well if the boyfriend sort of shows her what she wants. It could work out good. Good things could be found, like they're going in the market, and they might find a good deal, something valuable. Good things could be found in terms of the relationship, and good things could be ahead for them if the boyfriend obviously reciprocates how she feels towards him or how she's acting towards him. But at the same time, she is torn. She's nervous and she's unsure because at the same time, like I said, the January or Janus is backwards and forwards. She's thinking back and reflecting on how he has been treating her to this point and how she is unsure about the relationship now. She's not sure if he likes her like the same way that she likes him, which you're gonna see in a minute. Now, also the this imagery of being sort of torn between two sides, being caught in the middle of something. Excuse me, being caught in the middle of something, in the middle of some form of conflict, in the middle of a conflict is captured throughout this. Okay, you can see January, the river is fast and high. There's a river flowing, which is a sign of again danger or something happening. But anyway, in terms of being caught in between, do you see that they get caught in between in the football fans who are moving against them, who are pushing against them, they're walking the wrong way, and the fans themselves are about to go and meet other fans who are their rivals, essentially, who are the other team. And so the speaker and her boyfriend are in the middle of this sort of conflict, literally, in terms of the two teams that are about to go play football with each other, and conflict in terms of their relationship, metaphorically, in that uh, they're having issues with their relationship, and then conflict in terms of the speaker herself with how she feels. She feels like things could work out, but at the same time, she feels worried and so on that they won't work out, and that he doesn't look at her the same way that she looks at him or that she wants him to look at her. Okay, January, and we're looking back, looking forward, lays out exactly what I just said a minute ago. Don't know which way. Excuse me, lays out exactly what I just said a minute ago. She doesn't know which way things are going to turn out. But the boy with the three beautiful Bakelite Bush radios, alliteration, for sale in Meadows Mini Market, is a button popping, station hopping. He doesn't miss a beat, sings along. So this is just something going on in terms of the what do you call it, the market itself. So there's people selling radios, and he's singing songs to help him sell it. Yes, today we're in love, aren't we? Question mark. So she is asking a question which you could ask in a way which is like a sort of a cute way, a cute question to ask. We're in love, it's so great, like that. But also underneath that sort of affectionate tone is another tone of uncertainty, like I laid out before. Remember, every question in some form connects to uncertainty, not knowing something. Even rhetorical questions have a level of uncertainty in them or have a level of not knowing something in them, because when you ask a rhetorical question, you only ask it based on something that has happened, and then you're commenting on that to some extent. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Your mom says to you, "Why are you not asleep yet?" She's not actually asking you why are you not asleep yet? Because if you said to her, "Well, I'm doing this and that," she's not looking for that, right? But there's a level of uncertainty in her question, not in terms of like a standard question looking for information, but in terms of she can't believe you're not asleep and she doesn't understand why you are acting like that. Does that make sense? That's her question or her uncertainty thing she doesn't get. So it's there even in the rhetorical. Anyway, the point is, so here she's questioning, uh, is the boyfriend really in love with her? Are they really in love with each other? She's questioning that because she's not sure. With the whole we're in love, aren't we? So there's one, and then she extends this to continue what she's talking about beyond the relationship. With the whole splintering city, splintering means breaking apart. Again, you could take that in terms of the city, it has different sides. The city can get complicated sometimes, political, but at the same time, splintering in terms of their relationship, she feels it's breaking apart. It's big, quick river, wintry bridges. Talked about that before with the sadness idea. It's brazen, black, Victorian heart. Black again is related to dark and things which aren't, what you call it? Things which are bad things happening. Yeah, that's that. Victorian heart means old, obviously. So what if every other tenement wears its hearth on its gable end, meaning it has the fire outside? Um, Hearth is like a fire, it's like a fireplace. Gable end means it's out in the outside wall. Um, I think what this is basically talking about is that the houses and so on, tenements and that, they're like designed in an old way, at least especially in some parts of the site. They're designed in like an old way. Um, it gets cold and it gets dark. And again, just sort of illustrating those ideas connected to the idea of like sort of sadness or like things not being good, things not being happy, like that. Okay, all I want. So she says all this. Okay, she sets a tone of darkness, sadness, cold, um, um, things being broken in a sense. Yes, all of this begins it with a question and then lays all that out, and then she sets and states how it is that she's feeling. Okay, that this is where we get the central theme from. All I want, and she puts that, at the beginning of the line. All I want is my glad eye, my eyes, my happy eyes to catch a glint, meaning a spark, in your flinty. Flint is a type of stone, a hard, very hard stone. Northern obviously again is cold. Face again, just once. So what she's saying is all I want, the speaker is saying, all I want, all she wants is for her boyfriend to look at her the same way, the happy, excited, loving way that she looks at him. All she wants is for him to look at her in that way. That makes sense. Which tells us obviously he's not doing that, at least from our perspective, and therefore she feels like he doesn't like her or doesn't like her to the same extent that she likes him, and that the relationship is very rocky. Yeah, not to make a pun with the flint thing, but that's the idea, and it's again northern put in next to the flint. It's like stone cold, literally. So the flint is a type of stone. Northern it would be cold. Stone cold. It means that she feels no affection from him. She doesn't feel like he cares about her, and that kind of thing. Okay. Okay. Oh, I know it's cold. Continuing the cold idea, and coming down. No, and no, we never lingered among the ship bank traders. So again, this is just talking about the, you know, buying and selling stuff up in the East End. Um, Okay. Paddy's Market underneath the Archies. So the Archies is another place in Glasgow, and excuse me, it's another place basically. If you're from here, you know what it is. The point, you don't have to know what it is. The point is just that. The main point is just that. What do you call it? Um, I actually don't think this is the Archies. Yeah, I think I might have gotten the wrong market here. The Archies is in town. This might be looks like Bridge Street. Yeah, but anyway, the point is, that's not important yet. The point is, it's just more market type of imagery. Yes, setting. Stank too much today. The usual wet dog reek rising out of piles of old damp clothes. Things getting rotten. Things which are good becoming rotten, losing their comfort and value. Clothes becoming old and damp, like their relationship and their love losing its warmth and value, the way he looks at her and that losing its sort of value and so on, and warmth and becoming cold and not good. Um, Now a question obviously is why use buying and selling, market type imagery and setting when talking about love or talking about a relationship? Uh, well, we could say that when you buy and sell something, when you buy and sell something, it is a form of relationship in that good business is when both parties get what they want. Okay, good business. I'll give you some business tips. Good business is when both people in the exchange get what they want. In other words, I give you something you want, and you give me something I want, and both of us are happy. That's good business. We both win. Bad business is when I get something I want, and you don't get something you want. You understand? Like that's called being ripped off. That's called like a scam. And the worst kind of business is when I don't get what I want, and you don't get what you want either. So essentially, the idea of going and looking for a good deal, looking for a good situation where uh, a business related or buying and selling something related is actually a quite nice sort of metaphor for like a relationship in that she feels like she's giving the boyfriend what he wants in terms of she's giving to him her affection, her care, and all that. She's looking at him with loving eyes, but she doesn't feel like she's getting a good deal. She doesn't feel like he's reciprocating. She doesn't feel like he is giving her what she wants. Do you understand? That's why we could think that's why the imagery of looking for a good deal is all throughout the poem. That's why it's based on that because she is trying to find a way to get a good deal out of him in terms of she's trying to find a way to get what she really wants out of him. And as they're looking for a deal in terms of the story, she's trying to figure out will he give her a good will he become or act the way that she would like him to act, reciprocate the way that she's acting. So it goes from her feeling like she's being sort of taken advantage of and ripped off and all that to feeling like it's actually a good situation for both of them. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're gonna say somebody absolutely steamboats, he says, on warm wine, swigged playing cover from paper bags. Some guy's getting drunk, basically. Squats in a puddle with nothing to sell. It's just some homeless guy getting drunk. But three bent forks, a torn calendar. So guys trying to make some cash from things which aren't very valuable. A broken plastic sandal. So we haven't had the stomach for it today. We don't deserve a bargain then. So here she's sort of maybe she's given up and she's thinking that maybe it's going to be very difficult for this situation to work out. No connoisseur means expert professional can afford to be too scrupulous, meaning careful, uh, yes, careful about keeping his hands clean. There was no doubt the rare beautiful and the bugle beaded, the real antique dirt cheap among the rugs, rags and drunks you could easily take to the cleaners. So again, torn between two things. We don't deserve a bargain, then we don't have the stomach for it. One hand, I think this relationship is not going to work out. I think it's not going to happen. On the other hand, can't be too scrupulous. Can't be thinking about keeping your hands clean. There's stuff in here that which if you grab them and you clean them up, they'll be good. I think this relationship could work out. I just need to work a little bit harder, and we need to work harder, and try and like save this thing, pull out the dirt. Okay. All right, at the barrows, everything has its price, no haggling, believe me. So again, continuing what I just said there a minute ago, with she feels they'll both need to do work to get the relationship going. It has a price, so if you want to be successful in this relationship, she's thinking that she's gonna have to pay a cost, and so is he, in terms of effort or whatever. No haggling, believe me, this boy knows his radios, pure utility, and that's what it's worth these days. Suddenly the 50s are fashionable, and anything with decade of Art Deco or rarity you'll pay through your nose for. Okay, so obviously talking about the stuff, what's popular and all that. In terms of connecting to a relationship, the 50s were you could imagine the last decade of extremely high relationships being solidified because the decade after this, the 60s, is when everything became more liberal in terms of the culture changing, new technologies were introduced, and that's when you have the different sort of liberal attitudes towards dating and relationships sort of exploding, and when you move from the classic sort of boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife for life to more like freedom and individualization. Yes. Anyway, so she's saying if you want that, you have to pay through your nose for it. So it's going to take a lot to get those ideals again, to fix the relationship, etc. The man with the patter and all these carton lengths and fiberglass is flabbergasted at the bargain and says so in many words. Jesus, every other arcade's around here, a Faris around boutique. And we watch We watch the struggling families, father carrying hearth home, mother wound up with the kids, all the couples we know fall apart. Same thing what I just said a minute ago. So a lot of couples are falling apart, therefore it's likely that this couple will fall apart too, is what she's thinking, or have kids, or they make it work out. Again, throughout the entire poem, she's caught between two minds, conflict, thinking that maybe it'll work, but I'm scared it won't. Oh, we've never shouldered so much. It's a lot to take, what she's thinking about. We'll stick to small icons for our home as long as they're portable, a dartboard, peacock, feather, stucco, photo frame. We queue in a blue haze of hot fat for Danny's donuts that grit our teeth with granules of sugar, lots of alliteration. Queuing up for donuts. I keep losing you and finding you. Again, same thing. Under the conflict, she feels like he's there for her and then he's not. Excuse me, that she can get her. Sorry, that she can get him. She can be with him. It'll work out, but then it won't. Two stalls away, you thumb through a complete set of manuals for primary teachers in the 30s. Okay, maybe he's a teacher, I don't know. I rub my sleeve on a rusty saucer till the gilt shows through. So that's just the golden decoration stuff on different plate. You know, them plates, the china white plates that have those gold designs. It's a dirty thing. She rubs it clean, and she rubs it clean, and what do you call it? She rubs it clean, and then it cleans up, and the gold comes through. So what she's saying is, again, the idea is that the idea is that if it's gonna work, if the gold in the relationship is gonna be seen, it's gonna come through. It's gonna take work, huh? It's gonna take effort, basically. Okay. Oh, come on. We promised we'd not let our affection for the slightly cracked, meaning the relationship which is damaged, trap us into such expenditure again. So maybe, even if it's a bargain, we won't buy. So maybe what she's thinking about now is maybe in the past so literally what it means is that if it's something broken, don't buy it. Yeah, basically. If it's slightly broken, don't buy it, leave it alone. So maybe what she's thinking is that maybe in the past they've talked about if they start to fight again, maybe they'll just stop and they'll end things. Or maybe she's thought about this to herself. I'm not sure. The stallholder says we will be the death of her. She says, see, January, it's been the doldrums, means terrible, sad, today. The day means today. The stallholder says we will be the death of her. She says January's been the doldrums, the day. Okay. And it's packing up time, so now the poem starts to end. It's the end of the market day, and the dark coming early, and it's cold as the river. Again, we hit the sadness emotion. By the bus stop, I show you the beady bag and the maybe rosewood box with the inlaid butterfly and the broken catch. So this is what she bought. She bought a bag and a box which has a broken lock on it. You've bought a record, a song, or sorry, record, what's it called, like a big CD thing, that big CD you put into a record player. A pinstripe waistcoat that needs a stitch that we won't get, so he bought a waistcoat that's damaged, and a book called Inquire Within Upon Everything, and a book which asks you to look inside and look at everything. Okay, in terms of what she buys, okay, I don't know. We'll just keep going. All right, the raw cold. This is the last slide. Okay, the raw cold gets colder. So, end of the poem. What happens? What's the result? Okay, they both bought some things. They're both the things that they bought is damaged, and his waistcoat is it needs stitching. Okay, and it's not gonna get it. She says, I mean, he's not gonna fix it. And also the book that he bought uh is about looking inward, looking at himself, and therefore maybe indicating that the relationship is not going to be fixed. Okay, because the waistcoat is not going to get fixed. He's not going to At this point he needs to look inside and he needs to figure out more about himself, like he's bought that book. Um and also Shangri-La is a place, a mythical place meant to be in the East, which was a place which is like a sanctuary, a place where everyone's happy that you could go to, and it's an escape from the real world. So, in a sense, maybe it's being hinted that he at this point is not thinking about fixing this broken relationship, but instead he wants to think about escaping to a happy sort of world. In a sense, it's kind of like the classic. In a sense, it's kind of like the my camera's not working now. Anyway, in a sense, it's kind of like the classic. It's kind of like the classic sort of female. Excuse me. It's kind of like the classic female story in terms of many women will find themselves in this sort of position where they feel like they're putting in a lot of effort, and it happens obviously with men too. Yeah, it's the same thing, but I just mean from because it's the woman telling it, so it's a classic sort of female story, putting in a lot of effort, feeling like she cares about him more than he cares about her, uh, feeling sort of cold, feeling that he isn't at this point currently ready to be with her, and that he's not. He's thinking about escaping to other places. He's thinking about he doesn't want to fix the things that are wrong with him. That's the classic kind of story. Now, of course, it's not just limited to men being in that not wanting to fix yourself position. Although I think women tell this story a bit more than men do. Yeah, I think it's sort of they tell it more. Um, but I think men do definitely tell it to you. Some of you girls are. Some of you girls are a bit mad, yeah. But anyway, okay. Anyway, the point is, it's like a classic. It's a classic story. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, that's the point. All right. Anyway, so it goes. So anyway, all that said, and then at the end of the poem, she finishes it off by saying, "The raw cold gets colder." So the opposite of this would have been if she now talks about the sun coming out. That would have been a sort of happy, good, positive end where we could be hopeful about the relationship being fixed and saved. But she doesn't. She says the opposite, which is that the cold, the sadness, the bad things, they get worse. Huh? So basically, that things are getting colder and worse. There doesn't seem to be a lot to say. And this is always a classic sort of end of relationship sort of state, which is that you go from talking every day, you go from a lot of affection and all that, and phone calls and all that, and you can't stop talking to each other, to going to basically just no words at all, nothing to say. And if you notice also, all throughout the poem, the boyfriend doesn't say one word. It's all from the speaker's perspective, which again shows that what how she feels, huh? I wish we could either mend things or learn to throw them away. So this lays out her conflict, huh? Her conflict, which is she wants things to work out. She wishes that she knew how to fix them and that he was willing to fix it as well. Or she feels like she wishes that it was just over and that she could let go of him, huh? She wishes that she could just put this whole thing behind her and discard it like a broken plate, yeah? Just let it go. So the speaker at this point, it's very strong indication that the relationship is going to end. She just feels a bit torn about like she wants to try and fix it, but she doesn't. Um, but she's also very strongly feeling like she wants to just let it go and like move on. So essentially, again, it's a story of you could say one-sided love or feeling as though it's feeling those that feeling of love of being not reciprocated and that kind of thing and that kind of idea. It's definitely a classic. Even though I said it's a more female story, it's definitely a classic human story, I would say. There are many men who have found themselves in this position. I think every man who gets his heart broken, every young man who gets his heart broken, has found himself in this position, chasing a girl and, you know, doing everything, buying her flowers, etc., etc. We've all been there, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no shame in it. We've all been there and buying her flowers and all that. And then basically she doesn't reciprocate. And then it's just a case of, okay, this isn't going to work out. And your heart gets broken like a plate, but then you move on, you build, and you get stronger. Yeah, and that's it. It's a classic human story. Yeah, basically. Okay, so that's the story. That's the bargain. If you have any questions, just put them below, and take care.